Hi. Is the sound good? Sound check, sound check. 50 odd viewers, which is enough to get going, I think. Sound okay? Pictures, the thing's okay. Are we okay? Thumbs up if we're okay. Come on, chat. But there's this delay thing. This is so frustrating. Yep, it's good. See, that's how long it takes. I start asking about it. It's about a good 10-second delay before I hear anything. The t-shirt has survived a couple of washes. And it's still going good. And I haven't got any crap all over the white t-shirt yet. And no one bought it. No one bought it. Do you know how I know no one bought it? Because look, I even got the stopwatch going today. It's because it pings you a little message to say when someone, and the mug, I haven't even got the mug, the other mug. I've got this mug because, you know, lovely tea with cream in it. We'll get to that. But no sugar, but cream. And then you have to put the tea bag in first if you want cream on top. So, yeah. No one bought it, which is what we're here to talk about. So you may have noticed the title of the stream, Let's Get This Over With. We're going to get this over with stream. And it also said Monday 40k live stream because I didn't change it. So welcome to Monday's 40k live stream, which isn't happening on Monday. It's happening on a Wednesday because I didn't do it on a Monday because this isn't working for me. We need some more interaction. This 10-second delay isn't. You see, to you, this could be jolly entertaining. To me, I feel like you're just waiting around for me to muck up. Like Monday 40k live stream, I didn't change that. Like my wife, she waits around, it would seem, just for me to make mistakes and then point them out to me on more than one occasion. And also it doesn't help that she doesn't forget anything. Her memory is like Sherlock. It's a memory palace. It's a steel trap of unforgettable moments. And it might have only been one time when I forgot about her birthday. But that happens, right? People forget about people's birthdays. I remember when we got married, and I've remembered we got married is on the 28th of October. And she said, you're allowed to forget that once. So I was like, right, I'm not forgetting that. Because that's like on the marriage day, on whatever it's called, wedding something day. Don't forget that. Our anniversary. You can't forget our anniversary. You can forget the 28th of October once, she said. Because I said to her, obviously she didn't end. That isn't how the conversation started. We didn't come out, hi, I marry you, ring on finger, love you very much. Thank you, Thunderbolter. Miss Murphy's Hannah Farm Part 2. Yes. Hannah's Farm, yes. So, yes. Maybe. Remind me of that in a minute. But we get married, and it's not like we got married and we walked out and she said, you can forget our anniversary once. It's like, I'm going to forget this because I'm definitely going to forget things. I'm a forgetful kind of guy. Like I forgot her birthday once. So she said, no, you're not. And I said, honestly, I am. I'm going to forget the day we get married. It's going to go. My mind is dwelling on higher things like the average velocity of a laden swallow or the internal combustion workings of a Lehman Russ Conqueror battle tank. It's on these things. And she said, don't forget. Okay. She got my point. She got my point that at some point in our life, I might actually forget the wedding anniversary. So she said, you can forget once. Shots fired, people. Shots fired. So I haven't forgot it. It's 28th of October. But I did once forget her birthday. And anyway, how are we doing? So Thunderbolt and Lightning, very, very frightening indeed. I Miss Murphy, Hannah's Farm Part 2. I'm not playing Orcs at the moment, or AdMech really, or Custodes really, because 9th edition. It kind of sucks. John Batty, thanks for being a member for as long as you have been. I just see these as hanging with a mate, just here for rambles and wherever the topic flows. Well, hopefully we've got some of the stay on target tribe in his house, which will try and stop me from going off. But this isn't working for me. For you, this is probably some kind of entertainment. As John Batty said, hanging out with a mate. For me, it's talking to a screen. And I didn't train for this. I didn't train for these live streams. Some people take to this naturally. But maybe if I'd have spent 20 years working in a cool factory or something, cool factory, that works, I'd be more trained for this. Or maybe when I play a battle report, I'm getting something out of it. I'm playing a game that I love. and trying to bring a piece of entertainment. And I'm conscious that when I do this sort of thing, I'm trying to bring a piece of entertainment as well. And it's so it's not doing it for me. I have to be energized. And today I'm fairly energized because I've been smashing BioShock. You know, the BioShock 1, 2, 3, you can get it all. It's now on like 26 quid on the Xbox. I don't have Game Pass. I don't play enough computer-based games to justify even Game Pass. And I know it's like £10 a month or something like that for unlimited games. But I'm not going to spend £120 on games in a year anyway. Like BioShock Legendary Edition is the only game I've bought this year. I might have bought another game. I think I bought Halo to play the campaign, and that was it. And I played it all the way through and got halfway through Veteran Edition, and that shit's hard. Halo Infinite is, and they keep promising the dual player. I want to do 2-player Halo with Sultan Plays on Sultan's channel, running around as a genetically engineered superhuman in power armor with an iron halo, boom, killing Xenos. I want to do that, and apparently it's November now, but that should be up on Sultan Plays if we ever manage to get that done. But smashing BioShock, so it sucked me off the planet. I'm in the BioShock planets now. I've been completely sucked off planet Earth and mining planets, and I'm like smashing BioShock 1 right now. So hands up if you played BioShock. Dagda, member 3 months, thank you so much. Did you get into the dark kill team terrain? It looks great. No, because it's all the dark kill team terrain, Dagda, is for like Space Hulk, right? And I've got a lot of corridors from other games. I can do the Space Hulk thing. Sam Nash gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Sam Nash. Thank you for gifting the first 5 memberships. Guys, if you haven't clicked on a thing, YouTube will offer it up. Do you want to accept gifts? Then you have to click yes, and then you can get gifted a membership. And if YouTube can't give it away, then they won't give me the thing. So one way to support me without giving anything at all is accepting the membership. And then you also get into the, I don't know which tier he's done. Tier 1 is just saying hi, it's being a member. 2 is Discord, and 3 is Discord, and extra videos every Sunday. You get that report every Sunday instead of every other Sunday. You can also join me in the deployment zone, and Sam is a legend in dipping the old memberships. What are we getting over with again? I missed that part. No one talking about, I like your stream, I like your opinion. Maybe you could do these, mate, like the one with Quipster. I like your stream, but do them with someone else. I did last week. And Boldy, member for 9 months, what's on the wall behind you? Is it important? Oh, that's my 100th. Yeah, that's just a thing. It's just another thing. I did do a podcast with Quipster recently because we both smashed Echoes of Eternity. I nailed that one in a day. And he took 2. He was savouring his food. And so just like we did a deep dive spoilerific smash down lore thing on Winters, we've already done Echoes of Eternity, and I'm waiting for him to cut it and send it because Quipster's been quite ill at the moment. So if you know Quipster Nerd on Instagram, or if you follow Quipster on YouTube, or well, maybe you can shout him out and give him a big... He's been a bit ill, poor little lad. He has a condition, not like the condition in Memento where he forgets everything. He only has short-term memory. He can't make new long-term memories, and ends up erasing his killing at the beginning and erasing his killing at the end. Spoilers, but it's probably not a spoiler if you haven't watched Momentum already. For first up, it's a 20-year-old movie. So, and it plays forward and backwards. So even when you watch Memento, it's confusing as hell. Like the first part runs backwards and the second half runs forward. And if you haven't seen Memento, go and see Memento. It's one of Guy Ritchie's first movies, I think, and it's also a crowning achievement in the movie pantheon. Consider that homework. What's that on the wall? We did that. Keep up the good work. What did I actually mention? So yeah, I did the thing with Quipster's podcast, Echoes of Eternity, where we'll spoil the crap out of it for you guys. And actually having that conversation with him, talking through his impressions of Echoes of Eternity and my impressions of Echoes of Eternity, I came to new understandings of the book. That's the point of doing podcasts like that. I'm doing them to explore the narrative myself. Not just tell him what I think, but also genuinely hear what he thinks, and in the friction and the fire that creates and the sparks that create, maybe we can both be warmed by the heat, all underneath the foundation of Aaron Dembski's work, Bowden's work, which is it's a lovely foundation which to lie on. Maybe by doing these together with someone, you get more out of it for yourself. Well, like I said, I'm getting things out of it for myself. Obviously, the idea is to communicate with you and talk with you guys and give you hobby updates and things like that. And I try and make sure I'm max energy, so I'm entertaining myself when I do it. But I'm saying it's challenging from a point of view coming away from, I'm not used to this. It's challenging. You do it. It's hard. And also, I was playing Bioshock, and I love Bioshock. But once the camera's rolling, it just, it comes out. It comes all over the screen. It just comes out of me. Why do you not play Orcs in 9th edition? Because of 9th edition. Next question. Get well soon, Quipster. Hashtag. Yeah. Do you not play Orcs in 9th? Yes. I don't play Orcs in 9th. Played them a couple of times. That lore series is good stuff. Fills a good chunk of my work day nicely. Thank you. Also, the ones with the STDs that I create STDs with Warsmith Chris, and those are micro lore ones. And the STDs are just the Diet Coke laws. And if you want to get a question answered by me and Chris on the STD, that's where we answer questions from you guys, from the community there. So I wanted to talk about lore for a long time, and I think on a live stream way back in January, February, March, sometime along there, I talked through some live stream ideas that I had there. This is what I was thinking about doing for live streams. This is the kind of lore series I was thinking about doing. That was the seed, and this is the plants it's grown into, not one but two, one with Quipster and one with Warsmith Chris. And the Warsmith Chris we plan to do regularly. Thomas Quipster has the sexiest voice of you 40k content creators, apart from Winters. He left out of that sentence there, Thomas. And Mikey Creed says Memento is a classic movie. All right, yes, it is. So here we are. I hope you're all okay. Christopher Rice, new 40k player, picked up Orcs just as they got their 9th codex. 9th very quickly became the painting edition. Well, if you've only got Orcs and you've only got 9th, and about a third of the player base from a recent survey that Mini Wargaming did with 42,000 responses from the Mini Wargaming sample pool, so there is sample bias, but that's still a very big sample. A third of players have started in the last 2 years and have started in 9th. So Christopher Rice, welcome to the game. I wish it was more accessible, but at least you don't, this is all you know. But if it was even more accessible, then you would be able to play more. But as a new player to the game, I'm glad you've got the army that you love. Play it, build on it, rule of cool, do the things that you want to do the models that you want to do. And also, if you want to play a game, playing a 1,000-point game with friends, or a Tempest of War game, or an open war deck is easy. You can do that. And just tide over for 10th edition, because the great revolution is coming. The cleansing of the slate. Games Workshop is sweeping clean and making some changes for 10th edition. So other people are talking about voices. Got trophy in his bat reps. Listen, William Begley. The trophy isn't always in my bat reps, okay? It's very rarely in my bat reps. I try not to talk about it very much. You have to be humble. But only one person could have been the 2021 Legend of Legends champion, and that was me. There was only a couple of world players from the ITC circuit in it that I beat. Only a couple of them. The rest were content creators like me, and it just goes to show that with a little bit of practice, you can get better at ping pong. Or with a little bit of practice, I could actually get better at this and make this more of a dialogue. And with a little bit of practice, anyone can play 40k better. Just play it more. If you want to compete at the highest high, you need to be playing at the highest level 4 or 5 games a week, every week. Average. when I was doing tournaments in 4th and 5th edition, we were playing in my house. There were 7 games going on a week in that house, and I was playing 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. And then I stopped playing them because, I think tournaments is something that a lot of new players get into. There's a lot of reasons why people get into tournaments. People get into tournaments as well because they like playing tournaments. People get into tournaments because they don't get to play very much outside of tournaments. So it's like an event for them. They go away, they play at a tournament, and and that's certainly something that actually we did. It was a way to get, because back when we were playing, there wasn't the YouTube thing, there was less of an internet thing. So unless you went to local gaming clubs or the local store, it was only a group of friends. Fortunately, there were 7 of us in the SEOs playing all the time. But because there were 7 of us playing all the time, we also wanted to play other people, and the way to do that was tournaments. So loads of reasons why. But it definitely seems to pull, if you did a graph, more newer players into it. No, it doesn't necessarily do that, because newer players do whatever newer players want to do. What it does do is, if you stay in the game long enough, what it does do is pull more players away from it. The longer you stay in the game, I think, generally speaking, on an XY general, there's exceptions, but if you're in a lot, if you're a veteran player, then more veteran players tend to play less tournaments than non-veteran players. What do you think of that thought? Grimslayer just started Gaunt's Ghost because of your recommendation during the Hobbit. 50 pages in and already have gone. Right, okay. Grimslayer, remember the first 2 books are the weakest books, actually. So they're good books, and Gaunt is a fantastic character. You'll love it. And even if you like the first book and like the second book, and you think they're good books, it just gets better. If you think they're really good books by the time you finished it and love Gaunt and some of the characters, then you're fine. If you didn't like them that much and thought they were pretty meh, what I'll say is you need to smash the first 2 books, and then the third book The third book is the best visual. I want to say visual because when you read a book, you're there, you're in that space. But it's the most intense, not the most intense, the most realistic, the most organic hive war that I've been in. You feel like you're there, dying with billions of souls. It's intense, it's good, it's personal, it's intimate, like a lot of Abnett's and ADB's work. So, where are we? Love narrative. The Bells Tolls thing with Monkey was superb. Thank you, Dagda. I'm glad you enjoyed the Bell Tolls. The Bell Tolls and the Silver Cage, 2 of my campaigns, are exclusive to DZTV supporters, and also exclusive to channel members. So now's time to do this thing, because this is when that's a good segue. So now I say, become a channel member tier 3, and then you get access to these campaigns. And also, instead of a video every other Sunday on YouTube, you'll get one every Sunday on YouTube. And then there's more videos and a wider community in the deployment zone if you want to dig deeper. Where are we talking? I'm a teacher trainee in the new school that has Warhammer Club, not for me. You're a teacher trainee in the new school, has a Warhammer Club, Ross Lloyd. Very excited. I'm very excited too. You're a trainee teacher. Get involved with those kids there, man. You'll get so much. Oh man, Mr. Such and Such, Mr. Ross, Mr. Lloyd, he plays 40k with us and he helps us out. And Cool, man. You'll get respect mad points. Did you know Winters won No Retreat Legends too? Yeah, some people mention it, but I try not to. Thanks for being here, Inquisitive X. Speckled Jim finished Gaunt's Ghost books 1 and 2 and book 1 and loved it. Well, if you love book 1, you're going to love book 2, and then it just gets better. And then it's just a case of which one. Each book is solid. After 1 and 2, each book is just good. It's like a long-running TV soap. It's like watching Breaking Bad. You spend time with these characters in the 41st millennium, and they're just humans. Where are we? I'm talking, there's nothing here that makes sense. John Rich, not played 40k for about 20 years and don't have the time at the moment, but I love hearing Winters talk so passionately and with such knowledge of what you love. Helps, you're a lovely chap as well. Well, thank you, John Rich. I am passionate about this. I don't know if it's so much knowledge. I've just been I'm drowning in the 40k oil for a long time. It's stuck to my skin. Have we stayed on target so far? Thanks for asking. I don't think we specified a target today. We're getting this over with. I'm interacting with the stream and interacting with... Also, I was watching a YouTube recommended thing, and apparently if you put this in a title of a YouTube video, it tracks X more number of clicks. So let's get this over with. There'll be some people watching this. Well, the vast majority of people watch this after it's live, right? And then apparently exponentially more people will click on it because I put, let's get this over with, or this, you must, Battlefield does this, or can't believe I saw this. You've seen all those clickbait titles in all the newspaper streams that you get on Google or at the end of your feed and stuff like this. Have you seen this thing, right? So I thought I'd find out. Let's see if it works, or whether it's a false flag. This. So as Westy said in the latest Call of Duty stream that I watched, that if you say this in a title, then apparently you'll get Mr. Beast levels. So we'll find out. Gaunt's Ghost and Inquisitor books are great. Yes, they are. If there's no target, we can't be off target. Touche. Well, Inquisitor, I'm waiting for someone to throw me a bone. Give me a topic. Here's another thing that happened in the week. Because I'm supposed to be updating you. Like last week I showed you the Tesseract Vault. This week I finished off 3 of these. But I haven't done the bases yet. Because James from marchofwar.co.uk hasn't sent me the bases yet. Now, I'm not the kind of guy to deliberately ask any one of you watching this now, or any one of you watching this afterwards, who may happen to have contact with marchofwar.co.uk, either through WhatsApp or through the Tabletop Events Discord, or because you know him personally, or for many other reasons. I'm not the kind of guy to then ask you to go and comment bomb every available avenue you have for marchofwar.co.uk to nudge him and say, oi, Winters wants his bases, please. Now, I'm not the kind of guy to do that for a couple of reasons. One is, I've had it done to other people, and when they're not expecting it, it can clog up the comms, particularly for a business like marchofwar.co.uk. I mean, he makes money out of making resin bases and resin terrain and really gorgeous stuff, and he's a lovely man, and clogging up you don't want to clog up his passages. He might not be able to do whatever he does when he hasn't got clogged passages with sticky resin and things. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not the kind of guy to say that or even mention it. Go and message him and nudge him in the Discord or email him. I don't know how you email him. Go to marchofwar.co.uk, go to the About page, find out how to email him, send him an email and say, nudge, Winters wants his bases. So I'm not the kind of guy to say that at all, because it slogs up his passages, and 2, it can be uncomfortable. And the other reason why I'm not the kind of guy to say that is because I've been getting all of the bases from marchofwar.co.uk for free. He just sends them to me when I ask. That's how much of a nice guy he is. And it wouldn't be honourable to then clog up his passages, despite the fact that you asked him for the bases over a week ago, and he said he'd definitely get them to you by the weekend, but they didn't come to you. And then you nudged him again because you said, hey, just a reminder in case, you're being nice, just in case you're really busy. Nudged him again, and he said, yep, no problem, I'll get them to you tomorrow. And here we are the day after tomorrow, and I still haven't got bases for these to go on. And then that's 3 heavy support choices done, and gosh darn it, how much do I need 3 heavy support choices in my Necrons? I need them an awful lot, so much so when Pixel Reaper's coming here on Sunday, I don't expect to have the 8 bases here or even done by then, so I'll probably run, I don't know, Death Guard at him. I haven't played with the Death Guard a while. But I've got the Tesseract Vault and the Necrons done, but I can't play these. I want to show a different look. I can't use them without the bases. And I'm grateful. I am grateful for every free base that marchofwar.co.uk gave me, because they are glorious bases, which is why I often mention the name marchofwar.co.uk. for bases and resin needs. I can also mention that he's a commission painter and has commission painters working for him. But I am not the sort of person to mention a commission painter who is not my sponsored commission painter, Den of Imagination, which are the largest commission painters in the world. And how well is that video doing? But yeah, I'm not the sort of person to mention that he is also commission painter and can smash out some commissions for you. Probably cheaper than Den of Imagination. I'm definitely not the person to say that, because it's a side thing, you know. Probably clog up his books if people jumped on that. So his passages would be, if I was the kind of guy to say, go over to marchofwar.co.uk, and however you can message him, message James and say, nudge, Winters wants his bases. If I was the kind of guy who said that, his front passages would be all clogged up and he's got a business to run. And if I mentioned he was a cheaper commission painter because he speed paints, and then Den of Imagination.co.com, not only would I be letting Den of Imagination down, but I'd probably be blocking up his back passages as well as his front passages. But obviously Den does it better because they've got artists in there. James is an artist too. He knows all the tricks and all the stuff. And Rob, not Steve, who works for James, I think I can say this. I don't know if I can say it. I've said it now. Did my Death Guard army, did my Custodes army, did a bunch of other stuff for me that I can't even remember right now. And they're on the channel all the time. Andy's also done a number of painting tutorials, which are in the www.deploymentzone.tv. So I wouldn't mention these things because I wouldn't want James from marchofwar.co.uk to have both his front and back passages blocked up. Where are we now then? Warhammer Badly, good morning from New Zealand. Really? Well, you actually spent that New Zealand, not New Zealand. Are you the chap that you don't even see? This is the problem with people. Like, I've put Monday 40k live stream instead of Wednesday 40k live stream, and someone from New Zealand can't even spell New Zealand, land of Hobbiton and all that sort of stuff. Where are we? Old Squats were so much cooler than Votan. That's an opinion. What do you think, Winters? Nudge, nudge. That's an opinion. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. I'm just not giving my opinion on the Leagues of Votan. No wink winks, no nudges. There may or may not be videos coming out about that soon, but one of the deals in an NDA, which I may or may not have signed, is to may or may not talk about it, or may not talk about any releases that might or might not be coming anytime soon. Spam the F out of March of War. Got it. Mikey Creed, I said do not do that. Don't do that. I even said, no, I didn't say don't do that, because you can do that if you want to. I wouldn't dream of telling you what to do. I said I wasn't the kind of guy who said to go do that. That's what I said. Tyranids and Necrons, I think, will be the best one. I don't know what we're talking about. Winters gets heated just about the new thing. It's no. If I had a pound every time Winters said, I'm not the kind of guy to do this. Yeah. What are we talking about? There are no 40k minis with a good enough hat to be Winters. Thank you, Inquisitive X. There are no... Well, there's lots of 40k figures with hats, though. Some of them might be good. Misk 807. Bring it back from the teacher from before. What would be two good starting armies? Should go with a mirror match or perhaps something different. Two good starting armies would be Death Guard, because their rules are turned on all the time and they don't have a turn-by-turn mechanic. Well, they do, contagions, but it just gets further. So Death Guard is a very good starting army because there aren't very many complex layers of rules. Necrons are also a very good starting army so long as you ignore the protocols bit, the turn-by-turn bit. Or do what I do, which has been fact. The fact now says you can pick one of them and it's turned on all the time for your army, either in directive 1 or 2. So you have to be in one directive or the other directive, not both, of one of the... See, even explaining it takes a PhD. But if you do that, you're good. Apart from that, all the armies are crap for starting armies. It used to be knights. I used to say it all the time, buy yourself a knight and a couple of little knights, and then you've got only a few models to play around with and go. And they look gorgeous, and they're easy to paint. And there'll be some people out there, the bad guys. Remember, we're the good guys in this chat. You've got to be a good guy because there's way too many of the bad. But there's some bad guys out there who won't like newbies playing knights against them. But anyone in this chat and anyone who's worth paying for would love that. I would love, because if a newbie turned up and he had one night and 2 little nights, or 2 big nights, 2 little nights, or how many, there's 2 in a box of little nights, right? 6 little nights and 1 big nights. I'd love that, because that's only 7 models and we'd smash it 3 times. We'd play 3 games. Because you can. So what I get to do is play more 40k, and what I get to do is teach and help and nurture and bring a brave new babby into the world, out of the nest, and maybe teach them a little bit about Warhammer 40k and help them try and win their first couple of games. Because the look on there when they're all wobbly and they're young and they like ice cream and they win, they're so, I win, daddy. They're so excited, and you just want to see those big smiles on their faces. But the bad guys like to grab the baby and kick it, but you mustn't kick the baby. What are we talking about? I'm just going to start spamming Where's Winter's bases. Inquisitive X, you can do that if you want to. I said I wouldn't be the sort of guy who would ask for that. What is, in your opinion, the worst starting army? Adeptus Mechanicus probably comes close, and it's one of my favourite, or if not my favourite army for lore. I love, of the aspects of the 40k verse and the Imperium I love the most, it's pretty much anything to do with the Mechanicum and the Adeptus Mechanicus, because it's just fascinating. You understand that the Mechanicus are basically ISIS. They're the most fundamentalists ever, and they've got all the guns. It's a brilliant notion that this ultra religious, there aren't any non-believers in the Mechanicus. The non-believers believe in the Dark Mechanicum. They believe in something. They still believe in the Omnissiah, just a different version of the Omnissiah. Whereas there is some divergence in at least the Imperial cult in the Imperium of Man, because some people believe the Emperor is the sun god on some far-off backwaters, and the Space Marines don't even believe he's a god. The Space Marines believe he is their father and their creator, and they understand the process. Only some of the more extreme Space Marine chapters believe that he is an actual god and worship him that way, such as the Black Templars or maybe the Alpha Legion. Hey, a 40k game newbie, Haunting123. Alpha Legion really caught my eye. How would you go about collecting, learning? Are they even a thing in the tabletop? Yes, they are. You need the Chaos Space Marine book. They are in there. And there's 2 ways you can go in the Chaos Space Marine. Well, there's 3 ways you can go. But let's break the Chaos Space Marine book down into 2 halves. It's chaos, so there's all the demon sides. Demon engines and demons and more demons and obliterators and venom crawlers. And there's a lot of... You'll open it up as a newbie and you think, they look a bit demonic. Yes, they are. And they'll have the demon or the demon king keyword, and it doesn't matter what edition rolls round, they'll have something like that, except for Hellbrutes for some reason, but we'll cut that one out and put it aside for now. Then there's all the legionary bit in the Chaos Space Marine book. So if you're starting and you want to start with Alpha Legion, then you might think, and if you start from a lore perspective, then you might want to think, well, I'll stick with just the Night Lords. Sorry, the Alpha Legion, like a loyalist force, but from the Chaos Space Marine book, working behind the lines. And you don't have to add any demons in there. And then the second way to go is all demonic, and then there's mixtures of demonic and alpha and over. And that's the way I would do it, and they're definitely viable, and they're in the Chaos Space Marine book. And there are some very good Legion builds in that book as well. Land Raiders at toughness 9, Havocs that can move and shoot with their extra toughness and movement. You can load up Raptors pretty well, and you can load up just standard Space Marines and make them Psychers and make them pretty chonk as well. The Predator is toughness 8 in that book. There are some good Legion specific options in there if you're staying away from Warp Talons and Chosen, things like that. So Winter's like being called Daddy, John Battle. I don't think anyone's ever called me Daddy in my life. I don't have kids, and me and Kat don't talk to each other that way, and I can't recall another girlfriend or significant other that ever called me Daddy. Maybe my friends every now and then, to mates joshing against each other. All right, Daddy, maybe that. But what is your cat's favourite army to demolish? Two color maximum. Anything involving Inquisition needs like 8 books. Well, you've got Eisenhorn, Ravener, and stuff like that. We're over at the bottom. Old Fantasy Empire models had nice hats with feathers, if I recall correctly. That's not how time zones work, says Shubaduk. So yeah, Wednesday. I know it's a Wednesday and I've put 40k live stream. I know that. It's because I'm stupid and I forgot to change the Monday 40k live stream to 40k live stream. And if you're wondering what the title "Let's Get This Over With" is, because I've been playing a lot of Bioshock and I've been putting this off because I didn't have a target. I didn't really have, what are we going to talk about today? This thing. I can mention that I did play my first 2 games of Horus Heresy. I think that was this week. What is the date today? Yes, so I haven't spoken with you guys since I played 2 games of Horus Heresy. That was with Sam Nash. He's got Mechanicum and a chunk of Night Lords on the way, and I've got my Mechanicum. So we got out 2 Mechanicum forces and smashed it, and then we played again. I think we played like a 1,000-point game and then a 2,000-point game, and oh my, there is a lot of page turning in that book. There's a lot of, it was a good game. Here's my first impression of the game. It was fun. It was actually fun to play. And morale and falling back and sweeping advances, the morale phase and losing morale, because you take morale in any phase where you suffer 25% casualties, even if your units are stubborn, but not if they're fearless. So fearless is strong. But morale is strong in that game. And in 40k, it hasn't been for some time. And that felt like a whole new... There was a whole new thing going on there that you could play with and help to manipulate. In 40k, we've got movement, shooting, assault. And the morale at the end of the day means that you might lose a few more models. But in 30k, you can fall back. And then when you regroup after falling back, you can't do anything. And if you don't regroup, you fall back even further. And when you fall back, you can be wiped off the board if you're in close assault. Or if you fall back from combat, from shooting, you might not get wiped off the board, or you can get pinned, so you just don't do anything. Morale becomes the thing in that game, and that was a fun mechanic, and I didn't know how much I missed it. So Ryan Tier bought the starter box of Heresy and still haven't gotten down to it because of school and stuff. Looks very interesting, so different from... Yeah, it is very interesting. Another broad brush generalization to make is... 40k was supposed to be the fun, accessible game, and look what they did to our baby. And 30k is supposed to be more of a simulator war game. And if that's the feel that they're going for in the future, then great. Let's make sure they stick to it, or hopefully they stick to it. An even better, in my opinion, goal to go for is 40k is the fun, accessible edition, which also has competitive layers so you can have a match play tournament pack in 10th edition, which is its own thing in the rule book, and that introduces secondaries, that introduces actions, and that introduces different ways to play. And maybe in that tournament pack it has casual tournaments. So those are rules that little Timmy can do amongst his friends and set up a casual tournament in the gaming club for 20 people. And that's like a stepping stone onto ITC tournaments, competitive tournaments. And in the tournament pack, you could have 2 ways to play, 2 competitive 40k ways to play. And that's in the main rule book. And then in the match play section, you have different ways of playing match play. And they're just fun. And then open a narrative using power levels, and they're just fun. But it's all in there, and the game system is simpler, but more importantly, well, the game system doesn't have to be simpler, but more importantly, the codexes need to have 50% of all the rules stripped out, and then it'd be a lot more popular, more people would play it, and then more people engage with your hobby, and more people give you more money. And then 30k, they can turn into more of a war game simulator. And that seems to be what they've gone for, but they shouldn't do that. Instead, they should tie in 30k with the 10th edition rules. They should tie in 30k with the 40k rules. 30k and 40k, in my opinion, should be the same base rule set. So if you know 40k, this accessible game, you can then go up this ladder and play competitive tournaments. You can start off with open And you can start off with and then move on to narrative and then play some match play and end up playing in the ITC in a couple of years' time. Or even the ITC in 6 months' time if you're a fast learner and that's what you want to do, and there's layers of complexity there. Or from the base rule set, you can also play narrative, which can be their, what are they called? I've even forgotten the name of their narrative system that they have right now. It's so inconsequential, it's completely forgotten my mind. What's the name of the narrative system? So you can either play their narrative system, you can play a different kind of narrative system with you and your friends that you can pick up, Crusade, thank you, or you can play narrative 30k, and it's the same base rule system, but the codexes are completely different. So you have Horus Heresy Space Marine Codex and a 40k codex. You have 40k Eldar and this, but in the time of the Horus Heresy, you can have Codex this, Codex Imperialis, Codex Traitoris, you can have the Custodes in there, you can have the Mechanicum in there, and here's the kicker, you could introduce Orcs, you could introduce Eldar, which would have been around during the time of the Great Crusade, and call it Horus Heresy / Crusade, if you wanna, and the codexes are different. And then the missions themselves are different. So you've got a core rule set, but you can play War Simulator Horus Heresy 40k that way by buying those books. And you can see how Games Workshop sell more books. Or you can just play 40k narrative or Tempest of War. You can play what you want. Damn sure that if you're in the hobby for any period of time playing Space Marines or Eldar or whatever it is, and you've gone one of these ways, you'll end up seeing things on YouTube or getting involved with communities or meeting new friends and family members or dogs sleeping under the park bench, which tell you, hey, you play that version of 40k? Have you heard of this version of 40k? And you'll go, no, what version of 40k is it? And you'll say, and you can say to little Tim, you can say, well, actually, it's exactly the same version of 40k, but just get this book and this campaign thing instead. In fact, I've got the campaign thing. You don't even need to get that. The campaign's awesome. I'll be willing to play it a second time, but instead of playing from that point of view, I'll play from this point of view. And it's exactly the same rules. You just need the codex, the Horus Heresy Hereticus Codex, because you've got your Black Legion there and your Emperor's Children that you play in 40k. Well, you can port them across to 30k. Oh, in this codex, you can't bring certain units, but like those obliterators and stuff like that. But there's more units that you can get for your Emperor's Children and Black Legion army, which you didn't even know of. By the way, you'll have to run your Black Legion as Alpha Legion in disguise or something. But it's great. And Games Workshop sell more books and more people engage with their hobbies. But they're pitching for 2 different gaming systems. And the accessible 40k, accessible, get everyone in, plastic crack, here we go, isn't very accessible right now. How are we doing, by the way? I seem to be rambling quite good this evening. Busy water. Wrong hole. A 6-pack for £2 at Asda, bargain. Where are we? I think it's fine. I'm not just seeing the SL. I don't know what you're talking about. Inquisitive X, and someone else is having a chat. And someone said, thanks for the tips. But yeah, I think I was answering the question, AdMech are probably the least accessible. Genestealer Cult and Custodes are up there. Well, also, Eldar, that book is just, because it's 3 books. It's Craftworld Eldar. It's 4 books. It's got Harlequins in it. It's got some Corsairs in it, which clearly shows that Games Workshop are going to have Codex Corsairs or something. They're making stuff that way. They're pointing that way. So there'll be more stuff coming from that avenue in the future. And it's also got the Ynnari in it. So that's pretty inaccessible. You could start with Demons and focus on 1 book, because Demons has got 4 books in one. I'm not selling this. At least there is no more. I'm looking down there. Look. Do you remember this crap? All these Psychic Awakening and secondary books, they haven't published one of these in a while, have they? Clearly not making money, and clearly the trend was showing the more of these that they were pushing out, the more they were pushing people away from your hobby, because every single rule from your army should be in your army rule book. I don't know why they found that difficult. But putting rules for your army in another book is just a layer of complexity, and it's just, why would you do that? Because they didn't know, because they have to find out these things for themselves, because they're a little baby wandering. I don't know why. So where are we? Ryan Tier, I've been enjoying them. Recently got my hands on, I don't know what we're talking about. Probably Demons. So good. Live Winters, Wink and the Gun. Agree 100%. 30k should have exactly the same rule set as 40k. Yeah, at the foundation, at the core. The fact that it doesn't, and I would have to learn another huge rule set and game system, is why I'm completely ignoring it. Completely agree. What you should do is use the 30k modelers to fluff out some of your 40k force. But one of the reasons why the Horus Heresy, when it first came out 10, 12 years ago, I forget when the first edition was. It was during 7th anyway, so it might have only been 8 years ago. But one of the reasons why Horus Heresy blew onto the scene so rapidly was because it was exactly the same rule set, so you could play it straight away. And also the complexity that 40k was going down. 40k was getting overly complex, so it was pushing people into Horus Heresy, a bit like 40k being overly complex, pushing a percentage, I don't know how big or small that percentage is, but there's certainly a percentage of people into AOS. I talk to them all the time. Hi Winters, came back into the hobby like others, thanks to the lockdown. Yet to play a game though, and won't until 10th, as everyone says it's a mess. I like your suggestions with the shared rules. Thank you. It is a mess unless it is you and a friend, or you and a couple of friends. If you, or you with some trusted people in the local club, if you've got one army and they've got only a couple of armies, and you agree to play Open War or Tempest of War and keep it simple and play for fun, play 1,000-point games for fun, then you'll have a great time. There's nothing like creating these miniatures, putting them together, creating your army, from these miniatures, and creating a story on a tabletop with a friend and then laughing about it. Well, there's probably many things like that, but from a hobbyist point of view, there probably isn't. What am I trying to say? I mean, there's nothing quite like hanging off the north face of the Eiger in the middle of January by one ice pick either. But I'm not inclined to do that. I don't think I would find that fun. I mean, where's my second ice pick for a start? Why am I on the north face of the Eiger? If I'm going to go and climb a mountain, why not El Capitan in Yosemite or someplace like that? Because at least I'm in America, and then I can go to a Denny's afterwards or something like that. And am I attached, or is it just one ice pick? And why am I there in January? I clearly didn't think this through. Am I naked? And I've only got these ice picks, and then I'm dead. If I'm naked, I'm dead. It's all a catastrophe. I don't know why we're talking about it. Overboard Miniatures Gaming. I started 40k when Indomitus came out. Now I have 16 armies going on. Yeah, man. Welcome to the flood, yo. 10th will be out soon, and that's the last edition. And the last edition I played was 3rd. So Overboard Miniature Gaming, is it because of the complexity of this edition that you're like, fuck it, I'm not going to do this? Why is it? Or is it because you're just not that interested in playing friends? Or is it there's not a lot of people in your local community? Because if you're in the UK, I recommend you joining the DeploymentZone.tv community by becoming a patron to www.deploymentzone.tv, and then that gets you access to the Discord, the full version of the Discord. And if you're in the UK, it unlocks the patrons map and all the local bits, and there's like 2,000 people all playing. Well, in the UK, 1,000, and I know people in the Discord who have only ever played 40k with people in the Discord. I know loads of them because they came in 9th or 10th. But that's the only way to get the full Discord, is the patron thing, www.deploymentzone.tv. You unlock the normal Discord, the smaller part of the Discord, when you become a DeploymentZone.tv supporter. Or my Discord is my tiny Discord, my private one, when you become a member. There, I'm pimping. I'm getting better at the pimping thing. Tabletop, who was the guy that I asked about the goddamn thing? It's 40k. Overboard miniature gaming, you need to tell me why you've only not played. Tabletop Minions, you can do a Denny's without the mountain climbing. I know. Do you like a nice Denny's? And you've got them everywhere. Yes, Ryan here. I know. I've been in Denny's a few times. I like them. Parox did you do 10th edition reset to HH core mechanics? Nope, that's not going to happen. They know how much the 8th edition reset, how successful that was. Their shares blew up. They know that. So they're not going to reset to 7th. What they're going to do is reset 8th. I've got loads of ideas, and that'd be a whole stream. Like, what I think they should do. I think I've probably covered it. But it's not going to be that. It's going to be I suspect it'll be a version of 8th edition, version of 9th edition. It's not going to be a brand new edition. And it's going to be in the matches, and it's going to be in the codexes. The main changes in the main rules, I suspect, might include reactions, because you've got reactions in AOS and you've got reactions in Horus Heresy. There's no reasons not to put reactions in Warhammer 40k, and 40k has already got reactions already, and they're called stratagems. Most stratagems you're reacting to something actively or reactively. So we've already got a kind of reaction thing going on, but scrapping all the stratagems altogether and closing them all down into a couple of core reactions, I think would be very healthy for the game. And then the flexibility. It did the whole thing on USRs. Get rid of relics as well. And particularly turn-by-turn mechanics, apart from reactions. And maybe have 5 reactions in the game, maybe have 1 reaction in the game. I don't care what the number is, but it needs to be manageable. And Horus Heresy has shown that it can be diverse enough with only a few tiny tweaks here or there in their codexes. There's a big difference between a full-on Death Guard army and a full-on Raven Guard army in the same book. If you're picking from not even if you're just picking from a narrative point of view, if you try and build a narrative Raven Guard list versus a narrative Iron Hands list, shall we say, because they're both in the same book. Even if you build them narratively, they'll look completely different. But if you build them to their codex strengths, and they come out of the same codex, remember, they'll still look completely different. And Horus Heresy had done that with only a few changes, so 40k can do it easily. Bread and gun, get rid of relics. I like customizing characters. Well, yeah, there's too many of them. Say there's 3. In a codex, and 3 in the main rulebook, or 1 or 2 in the codex. The problem with customizing characters is there's how many relics in your codex. Say there's 18, and you might even have faction-specific relics, sub-faction-specific relics within your codex. So, for example, the Tyranids have all the relics, but they also have sub-faction relics from all the Hive fleet. So you might have between 12 or 24 relics. And then every other codex out there has got between 12 and 24 relics. And there's a crucial part of this game, which is what you see is what you get. When I look at a tank with those guns on, I know it's a tank with those guns on. When I look at those infantry models with those weapons, I know they're infantry models with those weapons. What you see is what you get. It's very important. It's also a very visual game. Let's not beat around the bush. And when you've got ninja killer characters coming out of nowhere that ignore vulnerable saves and put down 28 mortal wounds, and suddenly you think, oh, they just wiped out a squad. That's really cool. Even though your opponent told you about it as well. Let's wish upon the best possible scenario, which someone says at the beginning of the game, this is my super ninja terrible hedgehog, which is going to murderate a whole unit of space marines. And you're like, yeah, you heard it. Maybe you don't believe it. Maybe you do believe it. But they've told you. And then in the middle of a game, you see them setting up, and they actually tell you a turn before. They warn you, the lights are flashing. Hey, by the way, if you do that, my Super Ninja Hedgehog is going to murderate that entire unit there. And I'm like, yeah, they're Blade Guard. Or I'm like, yeah, they're Blade Guard. Maybe I believe them. And then it happens, and then it murderates an entire squad of Blade Guard or 10 Intercessors or a Screamer Killer or one-shots a Redemptor Dreadnought. And it's a little ninja thingy-bob. That's not good for the game, even if you're warned about it along the way. Now, if any of those flags didn't pop up, and the worst possible scenario happens to you where you're playing some little Timmy's playing this guy down at the local club, and he's wringing his hands with glee, and he throws in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle against that pimped out Redemptor Dreadnought with a 5-up invulnerable save. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-up invulnerable save, it's only AP -2. You would only be getting 5-up saves anyway, but it's 28,000 AP -2 saves with 10 mortal wounds, kicker up the back passage, and it's a little 70-point model Dark Eldar thing. That's a problem. That's the problem with relics. And you can't say, well, trim them down a bit, only have 6 or 12 in a codex. You can't say that because codex creep is real, and codex creep has been creeping for every single edition of the game. I've been in it forever. It doesn't matter where you are in whatever edition, it's just a thing. And Games Workshop actively try not to do codex creep. Yes, some of it is market driven. They're going to do it for some of the newer stuff, obviously. This is how COD and Minecraft and crap like that sell you DLC and pay to win games off the internet as well. There's a reason why this shit happens. From a marketing point of view, obviously we're not that stupid. Games Workshop does it too, but they try not to in some cases, and they are aware that it's unhealthy for the game if they do it. They've said that they try and avoid it as much as possible. But if you're a rules writing rules and rules and rules and rules and rules every day, and that's what a rules team does, that's their job. My job is sitting here talking to you, crazily enough, but that's their job, writing rules. There's obviously, it's going to move up. They're going to read. They're immersed in a rules environment where they read what Jim is doing over there and Tracy's doing over there with that other codex, and it gets them thinking, actually my force is going to, so I'm going to put this. So relics are a problem, and that's just relics before we get into warlord traits and faction-specific rules. And I didn't want this to be a rules rant, but if you set a rule where there is 3 relics in a codex and one of them influences your combat and makes your combat better, whatever that might be, and you might put rules at the top and bottom end of what that is, then that gives you so you could make up 20 different variable narrative relics for 20 different codexes, and this thing does for combat. And it could be more attacks, it could be more damage, it could be more wounds, it could be hit and run, it could be something like that. And then one does it for resilience, and so you've got more attacks and more resilience, and someone could put that on there. And then another relic that does something tricky, teleportation, move, jump, whatever. And you had those 3, and there were rules about them. Then you could still add a nasty, cool relic to your army, and a second one, and a third one. Or maybe there's also a rule in there as well. There's 3 relics, and also you may pay X amount of points for any HQ to increase the strength, damage, and AP of a weapon. And it's 20 points in this codex, it's 10 points in this codex, it's 20 points in that codex over there. So some people might go, yeah, I'm going to have the Mastercrafted Thumb Hammer. Some people over there might go, yeah, I'm going to have my Titan has got Mastercrafted bio things, and call it Mastercrafted. Give it the same name across all the codexes. Upgraded. Just call it upgraded. This weapon is upgraded. He's got a power happening, it's upgraded. I've got a demonic attack with my sword, and my demonic sword is upgraded. Oh, how did you upgrade it? Well, I played to have 1 more damage on it. Cool. And you could do that. That's all you need to do, and it makes it. That's what I would do. But opinions are like arseholes, and everyone's got one. So, someone's in New York, Idaho. Thanks for letting us know. Taking away Seal of Oath would severely nerf Ultramarines. Lol. I'm talking about a whole new thing. It's just my rules rant again about trying to make the game streamlined, accessible, and still narrative, and still fun. I played to have fun. I got deja vu as the Death Guard Venom spray gun murdered a whole squad of destroyers with a single attack. Yeah. Destroyers, yeah. Because you don't have armor of contempt, but whereas you spray them on the other things, then... is it a bit more like the special issue Wargear stuff for chapter specific supplements? Ryan Tier. Look, there's lots of different things that you can do. So you have data sheets and you have rules. Okay? So here's the core rules, and here's the data sheet. Here, this is what the unit does. Then there is a third group of rules. This isn't any rules design for war games. Some war games just have, these are the rules for the units and these are the core rules. Many war games just have that. But one of the things, go away YouTube. One of the things that many other games do is have the rules and the model rules, and have something in between, which is ways that the unit can modify the core rules, pluses or minuses, or exceptions, or doubling of it, whatever. And 9th edition now has a case where the core rules are this small, and the data sheets are this small, and the additional rules are fucking infinite. It should be the other way round. The rules should be as small as they possibly can be to make a cohesive, fun and the game. And I think 8th and 9th edition is so close to that. The data sheets can be as many data sheets as you want for as many different armies as you want, but that's all the information for the units. And the additional rules, how many are too many? I think we're definitely at the stage right now where there's too many. I don't know the answer to how few is too few. I don't know that answer. But I know the answer to how many is too many, and that was about a year and a half ago. Or maybe even before then. It's definitely now. So, and I don't know where too few is, but somewhere between there at least, I think is something a bit better, a bit closer to the perfect amount. And I don't think it's a fixed number. I think the perfect amount is this. It's a diagram, isn't it? This is too few, this is too many. And I don't know how wide that is. But it's definitely less. It's definitely 25-40% less than it is now. So that's, I mean, I've been in that model. I've been in the game so long, I don't argue about individual rules and individual stuff like that. And what do you think about the AP of this? And is this gun OP? And is that kind of stuff is, yeah, it's just, I mean, I can talk about them, but it doesn't excite me. Well, it does. I've got to be in the right mood. You've got to get me in the right mood. When we're talking specifically about certain lists for certain games at certain times, I might get down into the nitty-gritty. So thank you for all being here. Winters, do you currently have a favourite army to play in 9th edition currently? I read that all completely wrong. Thank you for your question, William Begley. And yes, I'm really enjoying the Necrons right now because they're simple. And I'm expanding the force. I played a game of Death Guard the other day without filming with a friend. I actually played on Monday, which was it wasn't Monday's stream. I played with a friend, me and a friend together in a room. Versus my Death Guard versus his Word Bearers. So Chaos Space Marines versus Death Guard. And we played Tempest of War, and that was really good fun. That was a really good game, actually. I wish I filmed it. It was 90 points to 80 for me in the end. I brought Mortarion because Mortarion's fun. And he didn't have to throw everything at Mortarion, and he didn't. But he wanted to bring Mortarion down because who wouldn't? And it took him 3 turns. But yeah, 80 to 90, very close game. A card or two different, even a card different, or a couple of dice rolls different, the result would have been the other way, so very close. Andy Horyak, any advice for a new NID player 1K games, Tempest of War games? Yes, you need to do things in Tempest of War, so you need speed, you need to get to the enemy deployment zone or the enemy quarter, you need to be able to take objectives, and you need to be able to do actions as well as kill. So in a 1K game, what I would have is a couple of distractions, probably 2 Screamer Killers just running forward. And maybe even a third distraction. Actually, what would I do? Any advice? So I don't think swarms can do actions. So you need a couple of little units of little guys running around here or all over the place. Like either some Gaunts, Hormagaunts, Termagants, things like that. Having a big mama, a Tervigon with a unit with her is a good start because she can create another unit for free. So you end up with 3 units and she's pretty unkillable. I want to say Venom Thropes, but even 3 of them cost 150 points. But they're so good. But basically warriors. You probably want to get Big Mama and some little bugs running around all over the place, a Neurothrope and some warriors. You need some speed. You need to be able to get to the other side of the board. So that isn't a good thing in Tempest of War, but you've got the units that you need. I don't know. Someone else answered the question. Because you want somebody that can get to the other side of the board quick. So those are Raveners or Flyers or Genestealers or Hormagaunts or something. You can get over there very, very quickly. Or onto objectives quickly. Or where you need them to be quickly. As well as just killing potential. So Screamer Killers charging forward are a good start. Loads of Warriors. You could just go forward. Yeah, okay, I've got the answer. Get some Screamer Killers to charge forward. Get some Warriors charging behind them. Take Leviathan because it's broken. And leave a couple of little units in the backfield holding on. And don't really worry about shooting that much. And you'll probably have a really good time. And it'd be terrifying for your opponent watching all of this come towards them. Teutonic Knight, thank you for your donation so much. Thank you. Second one of the evening. I love you more than you know. How's the 13th Imperial Guard Auxiliaries coming? I have got a small force of the 13th Militarum locked and loaded to go, but I've been waiting for the Imperial Guard Codex so I could introduce them properly. And who knew that it would be the last edition of 9th? Whoever saw that coming? I don't know why, but yeah, hopefully I'll get to play with them. Viridian literally just finished playing a 2,000 point game with Tempest. Nids vs Custodes. Nids smashed because of maneuverability. Gargoyle, Screamer Killers, Acid Tyrannofex. The Acid Tyrannofex is okay. I mean, the Maleceptor is the really broken thing. He's okay. He's obnoxious. Well, actually, here's the thoughts. There isn't very many bad choices in the Tyranid Codex. So he's good. He's actually good. Yes, I do. And particularly if you spend 20 points and put Dermic Symbiosis on him, then he's an absolute beast. I think the reason why my mind skipped a beat there, is because the Exocrine's better. The Exocrine is a better choice than the Acid Tyrannofex. But the Acid Tyrannofex is a really cool model, so get that one. How things across the pond? Which pond? You're assuming we don't have to wait until 10th. You're assuming we don't have to wait until 10th for some of these changes? Yeah, well, maybe Imperial Guard will come with 10th. I imagine it. I think they've said on a roadmap that it's going to come out before 10th. Andy Hornack, $4.99. Thank you for the advice. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate it. Yes, I don't remember what piece of advice that was, but great. I've only played 2 games so far, one against Genestealers and one against Space Wolves, but still have yet to win a game, lol, but will happen eventually. Bread and Gum, it's about having fun, and hopefully you'll win along the way. If you're playing with a close friend or someone in a group, tell them it's only your 3rd game the next time you play and ask them to help you. If you ask someone to help, hey, can you help me and show me what you would do in these situations? People love, one of the things I found out doing, people in this hobby love telling you about this hobby. Hey, here I am. And also love telling you about the games they played and how they played them and the ideas they have and what they would do. So the next time, here's a piece of advice that new players can do when you're playing someone new, Brennan Gunn, is if it's your 1st game, 2nd game, 3rd game, 4th game, 5th game, you say, look, this is my 5th game. I'm really looking forward to playing this, but can we kind of play it as a training exercise, and you, as you try and show me how I could play it better? Or can you, if I'm doing something completely wrong, can you tell me where I'm doing things completely wrong? Or at the end of the game, at least, after you smash my ass in 3 turns, what would have you done here? What would have you done there? What have you done there? And have a conversation with the person you're having a game with. And 99 times out of 100, if you ask the person to help you, please, I'm new, help me, I want to play this a lot. 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes, because 9 times out of 10, they're good guys, like everyone in this chat. Be a good guy, because there's way too many of the bad. I'm sure I missed the answer, but why is Winters and Liams both live streaming at the same time? Oh yes, I was supposed to get on and I was supposed to get off, because he is live streaming tonight, one of his streams, and it was because I didn't do Monday and need to get it done. So I'm going to get off so all of you can jump over into... So check out Liam Dempsey's YouTube channel right now, and say hi and say sorry. Winter says sorry. Just go over there, spam that, please. He's doing a live stream and a battle report right now. The other half of my DiplomatZone.tv squishy. My brain works like an orc. Okay, so I'm out. Have we got anything more to talk about? Thank you for everyone who's come along. If you want to support me, buy some merch or become a member. And happy wargaming. Live, love, share. Thank you. Good. I'm stringing it out. I'm waiting for a response. Someone buy the t-shirt. Dang, I'm too late. Yes, you are, AAA. Go and check out Liam Dempsey. He's doing a live stream battle report right now. You're awesome, Winters. Have a great day. No, you're awesome, Brennan Gunn. Lynch and Winters, thank you. No, thank you, John Rich. So I think I just press a button. I don't do something there. What's that up there flashing at me? That's gone. Thanks for Inquisitive X for being here, and the other dude who are the mods. Have a good one. Happy wargaming.